Okay, so I'd like to invite up on stage Clint, Motley, and Christian. I'm not going to try. Okay.
Fair enough.
Long name. From Immersive in Australia, to talk about the future of property visualization, leveraging immersive technology. So fantastic.
Right.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much, Simon, for that introduction. Before I begin, I'd like you all, just for a moment, to imagine an online marketplace where buying off-the-plan property felt just as real as stepping inside the home itself. A place where you don't need to rely purely on 3D renders and floor plans, where you can virtually explore a property anywhere, anytime, and with total confidence. At Immersive, that's happening now. We're an Australian-based 3D visualization company, and where our solution is backed by the REA Group, and where our solution provides a seamless and interactive way of property exploration. As the real estate industry rapidly evolves to become a lot more digital, real-time technology is changing the game and providing a much more immersive, transparent, and confidence-inspiring process for buying off the plan. So the challenge. Searching for property can often be exciting, but it also leads to a bit of uncertainty within the buyer. Beautiful renders and floor plans may sell the promise of a dream home, but without actually stepping inside, it's really hard to imagine if the space truly works for them. Major technology advancements in real time have changed the game, and it's really changing the way that properties are marketed and experienced.
And when you step into a property virtually, it's really like flipping the switch from I'm just looking to I can totally imagine living in this space. It's not just enough to see the space anymore, you need to feel like you're actually there. You can work out the kitchen is large enough to house your family Christmas dinner, or if the garden is as peaceful as it's made out in the listing. And we found it creates a much stronger bond with the buyer that flat photos just can't compete with. And for home buyers, this really is a game changer. No more squinting at blurry photos or reading listings that sound like they're written by a poet who's never actually seen the property. You can explore every nook and cranny and look with confidence. And for real estate agents and developers, this is really like their secret weapon. You can view every aspect of a development, and you can, it really opens up the aspect and to be able to view online for the developer. Here we're just going to show you a video we put together. So it just sort of encapsulates a bit of what we've been talking about and showcases a few of the projects we've been working on over the last 15 to 18 months. Great. So, thank you. So, through the evolution of property visualization, so we start off around 30 years ago. It was very basic before the internet, basically, or anything digital. You had hand-drawn schematics, poor photography, which essentially meant you needed the imagination of Spielberg to work out what the property might actually look like. 20 years ago, the 3D technology really started to kick off. It filtered down from films into TV, games, and of course, real estate, and really opened up whole new possibilities of how you market a property. And if we fast forward to the last 5 years, especially in Australia, we see every new development go to market with a suite of renders, hotspot tours, or some kind of virtual reality and animation. And this is the current market condition at the moment. So the current trends in property visualization, as I mentioned, is 360 panorama tours. So being able to hop from one point to the next. They're great, but they also don't allow a fully dynamic environment. Real-time digital twins, which is a space that we play in, really allow a fully interactive, immersive environment where you can change anything from lighting, depth of field, reflections change dynamically, and it really allows a much more engaging experience. Virtual reality, that's really started to get a lot better in the last sort of 2 or 3 years with the technology headsets allowing more high-definition experiences, great for a showroom, and more AI-powered personalization, so really tailoring the experience for every user coming through and really drawing them into the showroom environment.
So if we look what's happening on the global stage and what we're seeing out there in the market, so we're really seeing a lot of our clients and portals embracing this digital transformation of real estate. If we look at Zillow, they can report that 74% of prospective buyers believe that 3D tours actually help, and a lot of them saying that it's much better than just looking at static imagery, and 70% also wish that they had more listings with 3D tours. And if we plot a time graph looking at the investment in digital real estate across the industry, from 2024 up to 2034, we can see a really rapid increase. So some of the companies that are really paving the way and are really leading the industry into this digital transformation, we work with a company called Aldar in the UAE, and they really noted a shift towards digital solutions no longer being optional, but completely essential. They drive 92% of their sales agreements through this digital platform, and listed here you can see how they have all their projects in one uniform platform, and it allows the buyers to get a really deep dive into the project. So how do we address global challenges with virtual solutions? Some of the key challenges that we see out there in the market, international and remote buyers. So 3D tours really remove these geographical barriers. They allow remote buyers to experience a property from anywhere in the world. And if we look at Dubai, in 2024, they had 171,000 off-the-plan sales sold. 63% of them were off-the-plan sales, and 42% were non-resident investors. So if you're looking at attracting a really international or remote buyer market, the 3D tour can really help you do that. So how do portals remain relevant in a competitive market? The 3D tours really offer improved engagement. We've seen user dwell time across the portals that we're working with really increase, as it allows the buyer to not just flick through an image carousel, but they can do a deep dive into the project. It also enhances and speeds up the decision making of the buyer, because it's a lot more transparent and they feel like they don't have many questions left after they've delved into that tour. There's also high costs and inefficiencies in traditional property showcasing, so the virtual tours really reduce the reliance on showrooms, and it puts more emphasis on these really engaging digital selling tools.
So we all know that internet speeds and quality are crucial to the way we live our lives, both personally and in business. And the revolution really started with 3G, with the advent of iPhones. So all of a sudden, you're able to do basic photos, text, email, and low-resolution videos. And 4G really upped the ante. So all of a sudden you could send more high definition videos. Streaming became possible because internet speeds are fast enough to handle that. 5G is now the current standard, and 6G will be arriving around 3 to 5 years, which will allow speeds of around 100 times faster than 5G. So this will really open new possibilities of how far we can take the technology. Just a few examples of 8K high-definition content streamed online, real-time holographic displays, and fully immersive virtual environments streamed anywhere in the world in 8K resolution. So a big part of what we do is really pushing the boundaries of realism. So GPU compute is king. NVIDIA is really pushing the boundaries and allowing us to really push the boundaries of the software development as the hardware is also up to speed. And we'll see over the next 5 to 10 years, artificial intelligence will really play a big part in how we replicate real-life effects that can be streamed online anywhere in the world. And sound and tactile, that's also a contributing factor towards a true replica of reality, especially in a showroom environment. So touch and sound, having that dynamic input when you're moving around a showroom. And a big part of what I do is tracking the latest advancements in technology in this space. So generative AI, being able to produce 3D models almost instantaneously using feedback prompts and reference material. So all of a sudden you can build a 3D space much faster with high realism. Real-time photorealistic overlay, so taking basically a game-looking appearance and running an AI filter over it in real time, and it's basically imperceivable from what you see now day to day. There's dynamic material creation, so rather than having pre-programmed schemes for every new development, you can literally just say, I want it to be this style, and it'll recreate an entire 3D environment straight away. Online real-time VR, so again, 6G will allow this to happen because internet speed will be high enough to handle this. And real-time feedback information, so real-time traffic conditions, weather, that can all be fed into a digital twin, giving the end user a much more, a better experience, basically.
So what are some of the real-world case studies that we're seeing out there? So we can reference 2 projects. Case study number 1, Archer's Run. It's a large house and land developer in Australia called Ingenia. And their approach to this and their goal really was to go away from their traditional way that they were marketing that wasn't yielding the best results, which was renders and floor plans to sell house and land. So their goal really was to, engage the buyers in the showroom, increase the conversions, and basically boost the pre-sales. So we prepared a short little video explaining how we've done that for their showroom environment. Case study number 2, this is a very large luxury apartment development in Oman. It's going to house 100,000 residents in the next 10 years. And they've approached us with the goal to visually allow people to explore this property with the goal of getting international and remote interest. Oman's a little bit separated in the UAE in terms of its geographical location, so they're really looking for these pre-sales from investor stock. And again, we prepared a little short video showcasing how we've created this immersive environment for them to attack that market for online portals. So looking at actionable strategies for real estate portals that may be in the room. Some of you may be using 3D tours, you may have had them incorporated already, but if you haven't, integration tips that we found through our experience are really at first it starts small. So incorporating 3D tours for your key listings or your key projects, allowing for mobile optimization with really little barriers. So you can jump on, you can look through your image carousel, then go straight into an immersive tour, keeping people on your site longer, giving them a better experience. Offering interactive comparative tools, so giving them ability to quickly access floor plans and custom finishes. The use of heat maps and user behavior tracking. This allows you to really understand where your buyers are looking on the 3D tour and makes you smarter for your future 3D tours on different listings. And also enabling live guided 3D tours. So this is a way that you can give the user a quick snapshot before they go fully into the immersive tour. Thank you very much for your attention. If there's any questions, we'd be more than happy to help, and we'll be around if you've got any more questions after that.
Of course there are going to be questions. Of course. Let's start going through this. What's the cost of my inaction if I don't integrate with your cost-cutting visualization tool?
It's a hard one to answer.
Well, I guess it's about like enhancing, right? So you can go to market with renders in your traditional way, but we're really providing a sort of a wow factor and a way for you to position your brand in a better light for your customer. And at the end of the day, the buyers are in control. They're the ones that are parting with their money. So if you can make it much more transparent, you're going to get probably a better feedback from them, and they're probably going to be a lifetime customer because you're not hiding anything, you're showing everything. Yeah.
It's also future-proof in technology as well. You know, like panorama tours, they have their place, but I think they'll fall behind. This is really where we see the technology going.
Okay, what's the minimum size property that you can use? It looks fantastic for these large developments, but what about the single home or the...
It's completely scalable. Like the same output, the same techniques to how we build these environments are exactly the same. So the scale can go from a single home right up to a huge master plan.
All right, so let's think about that. I'm selling an established home, right? And I'm on a portal. What am I going to get with this? You know, what can I physically do? What's the enhanced user experience for selling an established home?
See, our technology is really off the plan, so we're before that whole stage. I guess with some of our tools, we actually integrate Matterport into our projects. So say there's a display village that's completely CGI, and then because the homes are already built in the interiors, you can just open a Matterport tour. So it's sort of like a hybrid of the two.
Okay, so the answer is, doesn't matter the size of the property, but it's very much targeted to new developments.
Definitely.
Right,
Yep.
okay. What's the problem? What's a problem you'll have to overcome during the next stage of your growth and technological evolution?
It changes hourly. It's a very fast-moving space, so you really have to keep on top of it. But of course, AI is always at the back of your mind, like keeping track of that. But we have a whole team just making sure we're on top of the latest technology, basically.
Right. So all your AI-driven interactions are pre-processed.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not on the fly process.
Yeah, we have a team of artists that literally build all these environments, so they're not from nothing. But you know, in time, I think there'll be the tools to help us speed up that process of AI.
Okay. So it's not like on the fly. So I can't go to a new development and go, you know what? I think, you know, and then your free-form text box, and I can say, make this room pink and add a couch here and so on. Can I do that?
You can, if we've produced it already, you can do that. Yeah.
Okay. So, but I can't. But you'd have to. It'd be pretty good for you to have guessed what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Right. So the pink walls and the green floor.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
No,
Okay.
not at the moment.
Okay. But that's, I assume, just a function of time and money, right?
It can be built in its time. Yeah, but it
As
can be
the
done.
cost of processing these images or rendering these images
That's it.
decreases, then you've got it.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Will AR be readily integrated into your offerings?
Yeah, well, our solution really is like considered to be like virtual reality without a headset. We've experimented with every headset available in the market. We don't feel that the headset technology is there yet. Plus, we have the premise of being able to have our solution, you know, seen anywhere in the world. So opening it up rather than just having it kept to one person with wearing a headset.
Okay. how much can the portal earn by offering the immersive tours or digital models to the developer clients? I guess, what's it cost?
Well, I guess
Varies.
the model is the developer client is our client, so they pay for the asset. They can leverage it anywhere that they want.
Right.
But potentially a portal could create a product where they say, okay, you want to do a project profile, then we offer, the image carousel plus an immersive tour. They could actually take that off the client and take a clip of the ticket, and then we would produce it. But at the moment, the developer is our client. So
Yeah, I guess they could charge an additional margin on top to host it on their portal as a premium offering.
Right, so at the moment it's a link off the portal back to your environment,
Yeah,
so they can then engage with the product.
that's it.
Got it. What's the cost to value for implementing your solution?
it's a good question. I guess for clients that we've worked with, they've obviously seen a big boost in pre-sales. It's a new technology. We've only been really in the market for 18 months, but what we can say from our clients is that engagement has increased, dwell time's increased, pre-sales have increased, and the brand identity for the developer as well gets a massive boost because they're being very transparent with the process. And when the client walks out of a showroom or they review it online, all their questions are pretty much answered. So then it just becomes a matter of how much does it cost, and then they can make a decision very quickly.
What's the average increase in dwell time?
Increase in dwell time. I did have the stats up there. Roughly around 40% we're finding from our legacy clients, like the big developers who are really
So was that 20%? Or
40%.
40%, okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what we're seeing across the board. That stats will obviously be leveraged out more as we take on more projects, but that's what we can report so far.
And do you see between different types of projects, different levels of interactivity? What sort of projects have the massive level of interactivity?
Yeah,
Are they ones that just don't exist at all, so people can't imagine anything? It's just like dirt. Is that a driver, or
That's
is
right.
it an online driver that?
I would say house and land estates really have the most amount of time because people can explore the aerial master plan. They can review like a clubhouse. They can walk through that, look at all the amenity. They can then go into their own individual homes. They can change colour schemes. They can really play around with a lot of interactivity. So yeah, definitely the investors, they don't spend as much time, but the home buyers and the guys that are actually going to live there, they're spending a lot of time.
Okay. Couple of quick questions. What is your minimum spend requirement?
Minimum spend, so if you consider maybe a 180 square foot apartment, you're looking at around 18,000 Australian dollars to have that fully visualised.
How much?
18,000.
18,000 for full visualization of a single apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can literally go in every single room, change finishes, change lighting conditions and floor levels.
Okay, and that's because it's all pre-rendered.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's basically it's a completely 3D space that you can move in and out of any space you want from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you see AI helping drive that cost down?
I guess simplifying the whole process, and we need people to create these scenes. So I guess AI can take over some parts of that workflow, then the cost will come down.
Yeah, the service component of our business is that we're creating these highly realistic scenes that AI just can't replicate at the moment. But in the future, let's see.
So if I was selling one apartment, it's sort of quite expensive.
One apartment?
Yeah.
Well, what kind of development would that be? We would just have one, like
I know,
obviously.
that's my point. So
Yeah, yeah.
as long as I have, so for that's apartment, assuming there's that floor plan is replicated multiple times.
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
apartment, right?
Like typically it'd be like a 50-level tower, and we'd pick the most 3 common apartments of our whole project.
So if there was 3 common apartments for that complete 50-floor tower, would that be 3 times 18,000?
There's a scale of economy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roughly.
roughly maybe probably 45, 50,000.
Okay, so 45, 50,000, 3 apartments for a developer to basically make it a super immersive experience.
Yeah.
That's right. And the solution also comes with renders and animation. So you've got 3 of the most important go-to-market strategies and content
Yeah.
to take your project
Yeah,
out.
the renders are pulled from that 3D environment, so you're not having to pay a separate cost for renders.
Understand.
Yeah.
But the original question was asked about the minimum size. Clearly, you're going to have a relatively meaningful development rather than just a very small single house development.
Yeah,
It could get quite expensive.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, just understanding how this works. And finally, can this tech be leveraged for new urban developmental projects for an entire city?
Yeah, the one from Oman that we showed, that's a new project called Sultan Haitham City. You can check it out. It's going to house 100,000 residents. We've started phase 1, and then we'll build out the entire city, and they'll drive investor and owner-occupier buyers through this technology.
Okay, and I actually want to answer that first question at the top that I think is a really interesting one. Can you explain simply, thanks Matt, how a listing or development with static images on a portal ends up like the video examples you showed at the beginning?
So basically, we get CAD files from the architect, and that gives us like our core framework to work from. And then we basically model an entire environment, and then we pull static renders from that scene. So it's kind of like a reverse of traditional 3D visualization work.
Got it.
Yeah.
Excellent. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
No worries.
Love what you're doing, and I think it's a good way to start to change the way in which new developments can be visualized and create that immersive environment.
Yeah.
So, good, excellent. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Simon.
Okay.